Well, good morning. I actually just got some good sleep, 3.5 to 4 hours of solid sleep. I like it. And the video title for today, for this video, is Seeking to Rebuild Bridges. I've been a seeker my entire life. You may have heard me say that before. One of the things I seek is to be able to build bridges that will help mankind enter the promised land on earth, not in heaven. Being a seeker, I have been involved with all the major religions, learning what I could and finding common ground. To me, division caused by the I'm right and you're wrong attitude is a trick of evil entities and misguided egos. Love is the only way to heal from this deception. Love one another. That involves forgiveness. I am in the process of dialogue with several people or groups from my past seeking to rebuild bridges. Some of that, I hope, will be accomplished on my upcoming trip to Australia, where I hope not only to find inspiration, but to connect with other bridge builders. I also hope to meet the seekers, who have become my favorite group, inspiring me when I've been down. Please pray that I will be divinely guided to make the connections needed to open channels of healing for all of us. We certainly need that. Here's my PayPal link for those willing to help defray the cost of my Australian trip. And I'm going to keep mentioning that because uh, even though I don't like asking for money, and I've made it a practice not to, uh, things have changed, and the life that I envision myself moving into is going to require people working with me, and it's going to require funding. Now, I want to say that uh, I don't want to be repetitive, but by the same token, this concept of building bridges is central to my mission, my vision, my ministry, whatever you want to call what I do. It is central to that. And I do not, as I said in the blurb, look for some uh, paradise that's somewhere else. I am not one of those uh, that is willing to say, well, this life is meaningless. It's always going to be filled with turmoil. It's always going to be run by people that are less than honest and less than honorable. This world is always going to be in the lap of the enemy or the evil ones or whatever. It's always going to be controlled by negative forces. I don't. I have not bought that vision my entire life. I've had a vision of something better, something that's meaningful on earth, not an escape from earth to get to that so-called promised land. There is no promised land in another dimension. The promised land is in physical manifestation of our beings, and it's form. It's form. It's not just simply a function somewhere else. It's a form here on a planet of solidity. Now, I know some people will say, well, Ron, don't you realize there's no solidity? Yes, of course. When you look at things microscopically and everything, atoms are mostly empty space. I understand that, just as when you look at pictures of the so-called universe, it's mostly empty space. Uh, I get that. But we have manifested. That means God or creation manifests in what is created. And we are that creation, and we are that creation that to me is part of the divine. Now, I was raised with the I'm right and you're wrong attitude. We all were. All of us like to think of our religion, our political persuasion, our ideologies, whatever they may be. We've been convinced uh, that we have to be right, but that's an undeveloped ego that takes that stand. That's a person who is not very mature, who is very childlike, who only is able to see its own life and its own wants and needs and desires as having any meaning. That's an ego-based personality. That kind of personality is not uh, is not equipped to be a leader. Certainly, I don't think anybody should ever be equipped to be a ruler. We don't rule anything but our own self. That's all we're required to rule, is we rule our own spirit. We recognize who we are and we integrate the opposites within ourselves and we become whole beings. It's not a process of rejecting, it's a process of healing and integrating. Now, as I said in the blurb, uh, I've been wanting to build bridges. And yesterday, I had an opportunity to talk for a good while with the ambassador. Now, it was a nice conversation. He offered me some very good insights and suggestions. And he's going to be providing, on my trip to Australia, he's going to be providing me maybe a person or two that I can meet and commune with. Uh, he's still working for what he claimed to always be working for. And I want to make it clear that when I refer to my friend in Hong Kong, I'm not referring to him or, oh God, what was the other person? I'm referring not to those people, those are my friends. I'm referring to the one that causes a lot of trouble by the name of Friar Newberg. He's the one that's actually, I've been told by the ambassador and by others, that he actually has a group that's a Hate Ron group. It used to be Hate the Ambassador and Hate Ron, but lately it's been mostly Hate Ron because the ambassador has not been making videos lately, etc. So I want to make it clear that I'm not against the ambassador or anybody else. In fact, I'm also having a meeting tomorrow with a telephone meeting with someone from Swiss Indo, who was part of the Australian delegation and is now in Laos, from what I understand. And Swiss Indo is also still moving forward with their vision of helping people in the world to overcome the cabal and the evil influences. Now, this is going to be a process, folks, and I realize that it's not going to be instant nirvana. It's not going to be something that all of a sudden everything is wonderful. It's going to be a process, and it's going to take some time and some development and some cooperation, and it's going to have to take place step by step. It's not going to be snap your fingers and everybody's a multimillionaire and everybody's in a wonderful place. We're going to have to be educated, and that education is going to be a process. And I'm recognizing that, and I know I'm part of the process of waking up. Some of the ideas that I have had have been wrong, and I have to be willing to change to whatever is right. And I also, as I said, I hope to meet the singing group, the Seekers. I mean, they continue day after day to inspire me. I do have a connection now with a relative of one of the Seekers that I expect to be able to meet when I go to Melbourne, Australia, uh, who happens to go to one of the churches there, Unity Church of Melbourne, which I'm been going the last 2 Sundays to the Unity Church of Melbourne here in Florida. So there's lots of things that I hope to be moving into, but what I want to do is to rebuild bridges among willing humans who want to make the world better for everyone. That's my goal, that's my mission, that's my desire, and that's the direction that I want my life to move. And I ask you to pray for me, and whatever you put on your heart to help, please help me. And thank you very much for listening. Namaste.